Dan here, DD Speed Shop. We're here with the Nomad, as Mortsky called it. Hate that guy, he's such a hack. Anyway, so we're gonna be working on this today, but before we get into the back-to-back action of non-stop loving my life, putting in floor patches, Danny pulled off t-shirts. It's been a long-awaited thing. She's been just diligently working at it. But anyways, we have the Nomad shirt, which I'm not wearing. Like, come on. Anyways, we made these Nomad shirts up when we did Power Tour, and people would ask about them nonstop, and we finally figured a way to get away from these print-to-order kind of things. We shelled out a bunch of cashola, had some properly like screen printed, like they're nice, and we're kind of handling it all in-house, doing the absolute best we can. So if you want a shirt and support our poor decisions, we would appreciate the hell out of it. DDSpeedShop.ca, it's our own website. .ca though, we're in Canada. And go there, check it out, and Danny will take care of it. Oh, she has something to say.
Well, just a few things to note as we're starting. There's one t-shirt.
Oh yeah, one t-shirt.
It's only available in the US.
She hates anybody other than US.
Wow.
We're just getting our feet wet. That was the easiest way to do it. It's a nightmare for us being in Canada to try and mail stuff. The mail and duty and all that ended up being more money than the shirt was worth when we did the math ourselves. So we're doing it a different way, and hopefully we can keep, if you guys like it, which is crazy to me, someone wants to wear our shirt, but if you do and it goes well, we'll do as much as we can anywhere we possibly can, and we'll go from there. Because ultimately, without you guys watching these grade B, radio silver videos, wouldn't be able to carry on. That being said, speaking of backyard butchery, I got all these floor pieces. So as you can tell, they're not new. So a lot of this came from the 57 deal. So I don't know how it worked out, but ultimately the only piece of this whole car that's gonna be brand new is this panel right here, which I think was $100. Everything else will be, well, it's all new, but not used. So the guy bought, some guy, I don't know who, bought a bunch of miscellaneous stuff. These are all the braces. These are inner rockers. In the other garage, there is rear floor pans and stuff like that. He was going to repair the floor on a Tri-5 Chevrolet, one piece at a time, which you can do. Nightmare to do. I am not looking forward to this in the slightest. It's a lot of work. It's ugly work, thankless work. A full floor pan would be much nicer. However,
is it thankless work if you're doing it for yourself? You only have to thank you.
I'd rather not do it even for myself. That's how bad this is. If we didn't have to legally have floor pans in cars that weren't fiberglass, I wouldn't be doing this. It's that bad of a job. But all this stuff was, I had to buy a few little things here and there, but it's essentially free. So it's going to go in this hot rod. A floor pan would be the way to go, and I know the comments were split right down the center as to what we should do. And there's a lot of different ways we could do it. This is the most economical way. A full floor pan would be nice, but that means fenders and hood and all that has to come off. The whole front clip has to come off. Motor trans out. All that screw around. The thing fits so nice. Everything is perfect. It's such a nice car. Doing more and more research to it, it turns out I think this car was actually done in the late 70s, early 80s. Is when it was painted and the interior and all that was taken care of. So it just works. So to take 50 years worth of, proper adjustment out of it to put a floor pan in, and the floor is not bad enough to require a full pan, I've gone back and forth. So this will go in for now. That's gonna be in the next video or 2 or 7, depending on how much I film and hate my life. But we'll put it in there, we'll kind of patch it all, and we'll go from there. I did this on my 55, which was ugly, and then I did it on that giveaway 57, which was ugly. This one is definitely on the worst side of what you can do to patch in, but we will do it. Danny's out here, mostly to hold the camera and flog t-shirts, DDSpeedShop.ca, by the way, if I said that. But we have to get this seat out and get it away. I did buy fire blankets. That's the other thing. We're gonna take all this out. I am gonna tape up the windshield and hang fire blankets and all that sort of stuff to try and minimize the butchery, but we'll see what happens. So we'll get this all out, we'll see what we're looking at, and then I'll kind of show you where the pans will all fit. There's going to be a lot of spot weld drilling, grinding, hacking, crying, Coca-Cola's drinking, and maybe we'll order some pizza. So let's get after it. Should be a fun time.
Hey, did you mention ddSpeedShop.ca?
We have t-shirts, ddSpeedShop.ca, the Nomad. Oh, we had it redone, so there's a blower for the motor. It's just such a cool shirt. I absolutely love it.
Why?
Well, that's where it is.
No, you didn't. Here, like.
Well, whatever. Billy Goat. So we're going to get that all dialed together. If you get them right now, you'll have them before Christmas. We should be, actually, because they're in, we paid to have them in the U.S. already, and they're going to get shipped from there. So get after it. Yeah, I think that's good. We'll talk about it 15 more times. Thank you. In my defense, I very rarely know how it's going to go.
What would you like me to do?
Lift the other side.
You weren't pulling.
You have to lift it. Is it causing something?
Okay.
A little more.
I'm running out of arm.
Just give it a little once over. Or you want to switch?
I think we have to because now my arms will not reach.
Okay, hang on. I'll just take my time. We got any snacks out here? Okay, can you
What do you want me to do?
walk out?
It's stuck on something.
Do you want to?
Can you hold this? My back hurts. Can you hold this?
Serious?
Okay. I just gotta like reshuffle myself. It's stuck on something back there, so I can hold it there.
Hey. You know what? We'll just go. just watch from a distance, I guess. The two people that help us. Maybe not the plan. Whew. Okay, we'll turn the camera off. We'll heavy breathe for a little bit, then we'll see how bad the carpet or the floor is.
No, we want the heavy breathing.
I really wish this, well, classic, I wish it was nicer, that we couldn't afford it. Or I wish it was less nice, we do in a full floor pan, but we've already done a ratty Nomad. I feel like I have my fill of that. What's going on here? This cut out. I don't know what kind of carpet this is, but it's both terrible and sturdy at the same time. It rips very funnily. Okay. Probably should have taken those seatbelt bolts out. Would make my life easier taking the seat out and taking the carpet out. Where's the fun in learning, no way? Whew, okay. So, what we got going on here? Yeah, light. Oh, there's a hole in the floor back there. It's not great. It's not great.
Oh.
Yeah, the back seat has to come out now too. Which is probably for the best, so I don't burn it. It's actually not that bad. So here is the front. Look at that. A light that works. So the front here is that's actually pretty strong, but it is fiberglass. So that section there and here is literally just fiberglass cloth, which is a bummer. This is the front pan, so it will cover basically. Oh, this is the wrong side. Can you pass me the other one? As I was saying, the front door pan. So this will cover right up to this, and over. Obviously we got to cut that. This one overlaps this one and goes to about there. So we'll have to figure out how we want to put that in. This right here, there is some fiberglass. We'll see how bad that is, but that's just a little panel we got to make. But the rest of the floor seems pretty sturdy. Both sides at the back, I'll just show you, it is rotten out, which I actually think your car was like this, and it's very common. You can see in there, but that hole right there. But the rest of the floor is good. The reason is this is the back brace, and it literally fits like that. That supports the floor. And what happens, it's a very dumb design, but this is up against the inner rocker. Then all the junk gets filled up in here. There's nowhere for it to go. And it's got like a little lump on the bottom that just fills up full of junk. Rats, you know, mice, whatever. And it rots itself out. But luckily it's just a flat piece to fit in. This side, we have the front floor pan. It's garbage, but not as bad. And then it has this weird cut mark here, but I don't know why that is. So right below here is floor braces, or seat braces, which we do have. So that's what that is. So we'll weld a little patch on top and put that back in. I mean, it's going to be what it's going to be. Once it's welded, undercoated, and seam sealed, no one's ever going to know. And we'll put it back together. Otherwise, like, it's really nice. All the rockers here, like this is all factory stuff where it joins into the sill plate or the.
I've never seen such beautiful
door
rockers.
Yeah, oh, it's nice.
I didn't know they could come like that.
It's very, very nice, and that is exactly why a floor pan would be nice. I don't think I've ever done a floor pan with glass in the car before, like a full pan. So I worry about when you lift it up, is it going to crack any glass? Are the doors going to get all jostled? What's going to come out of alignment? All those sort of things. Okay, well, it's actually a new day, and the reasons, putting it off, this is going to be an ugly job. I just got to make the first cut and carry on, so we'll do that shortly. But I wanted to kind of protect everything, so I got a little bit of, we call it butcher paper around here. I got some fire blankets, front and back. I bought, or a welding blanket. I bought a fire blanket. I have 2 good fire extinguishers, and I went and put insurance on the car. That way, if I melt this thing, I won't feel as bad. So where we left, we had the kind of 2 pans. I don't know how crazy we're gonna go just yet. Hurricane will probably go a little crazy. I'm gonna start slicing and dicing, maybe a foot out, just get all that out of there. The back floor looks decent. I took the back seat out. Just those 2 sections we just talked about in the back. We're gonna need a little repair, which kind of sucks. But we have to get in here, and unfortunately it's fiberglass, it's ugly. Ugh. So we'll kind of pull some of the wiring as best we can, and it's screwed in, and start chopping. We are gonna go right up to the toe board, I think, and kind of back. We have all those braces and whatnot to put together, but step 1 is just kind of get a lay of the land. So I'm gonna start butchering this, then I'll show you underneath. The front section should be okay. It's the back section that's gonna be kind of ugly and cutting and welding and modifying and all that, but this is the worst side, so we got it taken care of right quick. Ugly. So we got most of the, I just wanted the fiberglass out of it. Like that's literally just, that's all the floor was. This fiberglass and like newspaper. Actually, a lot of it had, oh yeah, that was the real ugly stuff. That was like cardboard. The stuff at this right here was fiberglass, but it actually was metal. Nope, that was fiberglass. Never mind. So anyways, that's all out. Now one thing, actually I just noticed, this is a California frame. I don't know if all Nomads had that or not. My Nomad, the frame was cut, like the front clip was changed, like with a Camaro or something like that, like a Disco Era Camaro. And I put just a regular sedan delivery frame under it. So a California frame, typically a Tri-5 is, like, get the picture, like 2 C's put together. And obviously where they joined, they were welded. So this is one piece. Everyone says they're better, I don't know. Seems like it's fine. But now we can kind of get the idea. So you have your chassis is in the middle on these Tri-5s. They're not right up against the rocker. So, which is whatever. So they have these outriggers, which kind of hold everything. And these braces run under, and there's actually one here as well, which is missing now. And that's what kind of holds the floor and attaches it to the rocker. So what we're gonna do is we have to change the inner rocker. And it's one of those things where how much do you take out and in what kind of order, I guess. I do want to keep this thing, it sits nice, the doors open and close nice, all that sort of stuff. I do have new bushings for it, but they're not here for a couple days. I might steal some off the other car for the time being. And do kind of bit by bit. So to get, I think the inner rockers that we're going to do first, I mean, it's mostly missing. But that means we have to trim off the ends of the braces to get the full rocker in, which isn't terrible. And if we leave it obviously here, it's still kind of supporting the floor. This will obviously be missing, but it's all in the rocker and whatnot. So we'll get under that and I'll kind of show you. I'd like to get the inner rocker tagged in there. So there's a few braces we'll have to kind of cut 4 or 5 inches away from the rocker, grind it, ugliness, belt sander, any way we can, and then we'll weld it. Now, this outer rocker is supposed to have this lip. They folded the lip over, I guess, to maybe hold the floor or hold the fiberglass. So we're gonna see if we can kind of fold it back. You can still see the fold line. Unfortunately, it's a little rotten in a few spots, but overall pretty good. That'll give us an area or idea of where the floor can go. Then if we have to, we can cut just a little section out, make a little piece, weld it, seam seal it. No one's ever gonna see it. Obviously, the carpet and then the sill trim goes over it. But, yeah, there we are. So these are all, oof, man, they're rough. Rough. Yeah, and Nomads have this extra little brace here. I'll have to cut this out and try and weld it back in after. And we may pull the plasma out. We'll see. I was trying to be gentle, but I'm losing interest. Let's get this thing up in the air. I'll show you the inner rocker, what we're going to work on there. And I'd like to get that kind of tacked in. That'll give a lot more strength as well. And then something, I mean, we're still strong. We're good. But anyways, when the inner rocker isn't, this is annoying. We can get the braces in the floor kind of tacked and stuff and, you know, cut and butt, all that. Okay, so we're on the underside. Now you can kind of get an idea of what we're working with. Obviously, the floor is missing, outriggers with the braces. That was terrible lighting. The braces, you can see they're just rotten. Oh, maybe that's just undercoating, actually. Is this one bad? I just assume they're all bad. Of course, I can't get to it now that the camera's on. Stupid fat fingers. I get this from my old man. Pudgy fingers. Oh yeah, so it's all swollen up, and there's a captured nut in there, and that's what kind of holds it all together. So we'll be changing that. But let's get up over here. I think I've changed my mind as to what we're gonna do. Well, not that I can do a whole lot. So obviously the rocker and the outer rocker, it's like a C. You know, it has the bottom, the side which has the trim, and then the top where the sill plate goes. And then the inner rocker just sandwiches up against it. And it's welded to this bottom and top lip. For some reason, it's missing bits and pieces. It's had some repair done. So if we can come up here, and if we just cut this little section here out, and you know, get that piece of the brace out. So again, this is going to be belt sander, grinding, whatever we have to do to get that out. We could then start mocking it up. And my thought is maybe we'll do it in 2 sections. So typically the inner rocker goes front to back, which is kind of a nightmare. The back is rotten and needs to be done as well. But back here, we're not going to be changing the floor, right? Because that's still in good shape. Yeah, this back section anyways. But this inner brace or whatever, we have to change that. So we'll be cutting that out, you know, welding up a little bit there. So that has lots of strength. That ain't going nowhere. But if we maybe break this, like we quarter the car to floor pans, put the inner rocker in from here forward. We'll do the floors. We'll do the braces. We'll do all that for this one section. Get that all welded, tacked, you know, so it's steady, it's strong, it's not moving. Then we move to the back, and then we just kind of keep going. At the end of the day, if I cut it right and put it right where a brace is, you'll never see it. Also, if we just weld it, I mean, be butt welded, ground, seam sealed, it'll be just freaking fine. Friggin' fine. So, I don't know how much I'll be able to kind of film while I'm in here, but this is the ugliness. I'm going to attack next, get this taken out. It only has to go up to, well, just to the front of that brace. This brace actually not bad shape, other than the floor on top of it is complete junk. Fold that up, get her going, brace it up, then that'll be a box. Very strong. Mucho strongo. So weird having a car that's all complete. Well, honestly, I feel so much better. What is wrong with me? This is what I enjoy. I need a better hobby. So we got the front piece out. This was really ugly. And unfortunately, I kind of mangled that brace piece up. But we'll see what we can figure out there. Obviously, everything went in. That brace goes over top, so it's hard to get in there. So I kind of plasmaed a little bit and bent it. And this part of the floor is actually still good, how it kind of curves over. We'll have to straighten that out. This section all right here, that's where the floor pan's going to go. So we're going to have to kind of weld in there. But the front part of the rocker is actually really nice. So this is very strange what happened here. And this is a cut, that's not rust, so it's solid. Nothing, nobody home. And then, so this section, like this is another rocker. It has to be a replacement one, but like it's not even in there the whole way back. I cut out this little brace here just to get access because I think I'm going to split the rocker and join it right there. This thing is so friggin' sturdy. That's our captured nut, which is junk. So again, that's what we gotta be changing those braces for. So I think what I'm gonna do, we're gonna cut this rocker, inner rocker, which is like, again, super simple. On the bottom side, I'm just gonna zip in there. I'll probably leave it double thick even, clean it, and essentially it's gonna look like this, right? You'll have your straight edge. I cleaned this, or bent this over just a little bit. We'll have to clean that up. But we'll have basically that top, bottom. I'll be able to slide in the rocker, and this is what it's going to look like. So we're going to weld here and here. This flat piece is actually what this is supposed to be right here, and as you can see, that's where the flat piece of the floor is. So then we'll weld, I guess probably from the bottom up to the floor. So that's what joins everything together. It's very simple. I mean, everything's just kind of pieced together, spot weld, and go. We'll clean it all up. I don't know how far back we're gonna go here. I actually do have a back floor pan. It came with deal. It's in the other garage. Man, look at that pile of 57. So if I have to use a section of it, I can. I don't know how far exactly we're gonna go. And then realistically, any way this way now, I mean, it's rusty by all means, but there's not big holes in it. The pan, they go up into the tunnel, so we can probably join it around there. Same with there. And once we get this section in, so we'll butt it all up, lay it in, put our braces in, give those a tack, wherever it ends up over there, cut and weld and just have the panels fall out from underneath. So I know it looks terrible, but this is one of those things where it's gonna start coming together like really, really, really quick. I don't even know what time it is. But a few hours from now, if I have that, I don't know what we got going on tonight, I should be able to kind of have some floor pans started-ish in here, which will be pretty good. The real issue I'm gonna run into is this brace here. I'll probably have to weld the brace in first and kind of test fit the pan, but I'd like to maybe get that that done and this part of the rocker done today, or for this video I should say. It might go into tomorrow. We're doing pretty good. Actually, this outrigger is a little rusty too. It needs a little welding. And yeah. So I'll, again, I'm underneath and it's ugliness. I wish I could film more. I am sorry, but we'll get this cut out and I'll show you the new one placed in there. Okay, I'm making some progress. Pretty menial. I just want to show you a couple things here real quick. So this, so you see that? That is dirt. Do I have a screwdriver somewhere obvious? Of course not. We'll just go ahead and use the tetanus fingers like that. Look at all that. That is full of dirt. And that is why these rot out. The junk in there, you don't wash them out, and it all goes to crap. Now, oh, sorry, there's a little dirt on the lens. Hopefully it just makes it look like I'm working hard. I blew out this section here, and I coated it with, I like this stuff, rust converter. It just stops, I don't know, I got it from the hardware store. Stops rust. I'm not a huge believer in undercoating and stuff in these areas. You know, the rubberized undercoating gets on there, and then water and salt and all that gets between the two, and that's what kind of rusts it from the bottom up, which is what's happened to this car exactly. These little things here, pop those up, and you know what you can put in there that will never, ever, ever rust? Oil. A little oil in there goes a long way. And then ultimately it's gonna sit on the bottom and go from there. It does have, on the bottom side, little drains and vents and stuff like that. I will say this car is probably at a point in its life, I clean it out now, I oil it up, it'll probably last for many years to come. It's not gonna be driven in, well, I shouldn't say that, but I mean gravel roads and winter and all that sort of stuff. That's where it all gets in there. You know, wash it out. The other thing, I typically will kind of wash that out, blow it out. You know, a little water in there goes a long way. So if you have an old car, spend a little bit of time, you know, clean the frame out, clean the rockers out. It just saves it from rotting. It holds the moisture, and you kind of go from there. Now what we're gonna do, I'm gonna go over to this is the passenger side. I'll go to the other rocker, and we'll slice it, and I'll just kind of show you how it'll fit in here. All I did, we cut that out. You can see it's open. I ground it all down. We'll vice grip it. We might have to do some bending up and down to kind of make it fit. We have some ugliness here. This section there will probably have to be cut out and fixed, but we'll get that taken care of, match it up there, and get it kind of tacked in. Like I said, I'm going to join it right here. So it'll just stop right in the center of the brace. And then, what am I going to do there? Yeah, I think I'll do that anyways. We'll join it there, and if it's wrong, I'll suffer later. Get that cut out, get it vice gripped in. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Look at that, first new piece going on. So, whoop. So I have it along the bottom, just kind of vice grip. You can see that's the rocker. It'll, you know, as I can hold together, we can weld it in, right? I took my little punch and I ran a bunch just down the inside, and I actually added a few on the top because that's where the floor will sit, this section right here. So I trimmed it. There was a little bit here, which I don't think I'm gonna put on. The rocker didn't have that. You gotta remember, there's a big brace going across there, so it's not like you need that little bit of strength. I think what I'll probably do as well is just kind of hold this and give it a couple of little tack welds in there. We can clean that up with the grinder just to kind of hold it for now. And this is permanent. This isn't coming back out. So we'll buzz across the front, along the bottom. And I mean, it's pretty well in line with the rocker there. Nothing's hanging down. It looks pretty good. I'm happy with it. I mean, it's a little bent here and there, but what are you going to do? And yeah, once we get that going, then I'm so excited. Then we can kind of dress all. I'm excited to cut out. I still haven't cleaned the lens. Excited to cut out a bunch of ugly floors, but we can get the front floor cut out, put the brace in, floor on, give everything kind of a couple of tack welds, start cleaning stuff up, and it's immediately going to look better. Like, this looks terrible. Don't give up at this point. Don't be the guy I buy these panels off of. Please carry on. I'm only a few hours in here. But you know what? Just keep going. Trust me. A lot of grinding, a lot of ugliness yet. But really, we have that. There'll be a brace here that goes. So you'll have to pretend with me, but there's a brace that goes here, to the rocker. And then right here is where there's a little piece that, where the seat brace is, that goes across, which I believe joins, yeah, it must be this here. It sits on top of that. So there is some screwing around to be done on this section, but we're not gonna have to go near as far. We should be able to kind of just extend this cut and go over. This pan can almost fit in where we want it, weld all the braces to it, and then stick it all in together like a one piece floor pan. I'm gonna pull the welder over, I'm gonna try and get the camera set up so you can kind of see me weld this all together. If possible, hopefully it's gonna be okay. I know there's stuff in the way like crazy, but I think I'm doing a pretty good job of not buggering this car up, which I'm pretty happy about. So we got that section in a rocker welded in. Now we're going to move up to the floor. So this is a reverso of what it looks like. This is the brace which we cut out. So that will be going under and going through on the floor like that. So just pull that out if I can. Basically this goes kind of something like that. So we'll have to trim. I'm going to clean up some of the welds here. We have to trim out this floor section around this seam because the front of the floor, it has a little curve down. We'll use that so we can kind of weld it on there. I'll probably just seam weld it. We'll probably go right up into the tunnel, I'm thinking. I mean, to try and grind in these little like stamp stuff is going to be ugly. And if we just go right across there, it'd be easy, hidden by the transmission, you know, grind it down, be fine. We'll end up cutting all of this out because we're not going to use any of it. And the pan, that goes right up into the tunnel anyways. So the back will just be kind of free flowing. Cut that out, set it in there, we'll tack it. We'll have it sitting on a mount there, so it'll give us an idea, and then obviously it's going to sit on this lip. So if it's lined up here at the floor, it's lined up on this lip we put up. This has two, but the two, or for sure one bushing is there, and then it's, you know, welded in there. It's where it's going to be. It's where the floor is going to be. So we'll get that taken care of. There is a brace that goes, I think it's in this section. Like I said, just kind of goes in. So that'll be on the second piece we cut out, but that way, this will all be dialed. We'll put a nut and bolt in there. That'll be secure, nothing's moving. And then we'll work on this section, which it looks like this kind of only goes to where it kind of curves down. So yeah, probably right about there, hopefully. This is gonna be ugly because this brace, I don't know what we're gonna do. We may have to kind of weld the brace in first and then put the floor pan in. And I don't know how much of the floor pan we're actually gonna use now that I look at it. We have to do a little figuring. So I don't want to use I don't want to cut out any more metal than I have to, right? And like I said, these braces here, there's also that floor brace that goes in. So this will be a little complicated, but the front section is pretty straightforward. So I'll set the camera up, try and wrap something here so I'm not making a heck of a mess, because I do kind of like, I'm taking my time, but it is very awkward to work around, and it's awful to film, very awful. But I might just set you up on the tripod over there so you can kind of get a cross view, and we'll cut grind until it kind of fits. Okay, well, unfortunately, it's a little tight in here, but I got a lot cut out. Can you see everything? This steering wheel. We got the kind of floor pan cut out. I did put in a rubber bushing. Now, I made the pan so it will kind of fit. It's going to fit in line here and here, and then this, it's going to sit on top of the metal. Yeah, we got to trim that as we go, but you can kind of see, you know, kind of what we're going for there. Now, the next thing we have to do is install the brace. It'd be sure handy if they sold these patch panels with the brace installed. I took it, I drilled a bunch of holes all the way through it so we can get that all welded. Now this fits in just like that. So there's a hole in the floor, a hole in the brace, and obviously it goes through the bushing. Obviously I gotta hammer that just a little bit to make it fit, but we'll be able to do that. Then I'm gonna put this floor pan over, make it fit, line all the holes up. I'll then give it a couple of tacks just to hold it. We'll pull it out. We'll weld that solid right here so the brace will be right to the floor. We'll put it in, then we'll do that in fast motion. Then I'll probably come back and I'll start trimming out the floor or the panel, depending on what I want to do, to make this all kind of fit together. But a lot of camera here. You can kind of see what we're working with. Yeah. So this is the panel that will then go kind of behind it. So that's what we got going on. It's getting there. So I do have some ugliness here to deal with, unfortunately. So I will have to, I think I have a pan though, so it shouldn't be too bad. But yeah, enjoy my supper. So there's a little brace in. It's pretty close. It's off a little bit, but enough it'll work for me. Two hands would be handy. Hang on. Well, you got like a POV installing the panel. There we go. So all the way through, all the way through. So that's all lined up. Now what we're gonna do is I'm probably gonna just, oh no, charge the camera. I'm probably gonna just tack the front of the panning, because it's still got some flex to it. And it's kind of, you know, stuck and do whatever. So we gotta do a little messing around, but smack that down, weld, 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 get it stuck in these two corners. Then we'll probably just cut it right along here, maybe around the edge. I don't know what we'll do there. We'll figure it out though, and just kind of do that. And as we cut this bottom piece, the old floor will just fall from under it. There we have it. I'm gonna charge the light real quick so you guys get a grade A view, but ultimately, this makes me feel much better. Hopefully you guys feel better too. And look, I haven't even burnt the car down yet. I'm doing pretty good. So there we go. Floor pan. Obviously needs a lot of welding and whatnot, but it's in. Everything lines up. I'm happy with it. This is the piece we cut out there. So it is flush. Everything will be there. It'll be a lot of screwing around, a lot of welding. This is the problem with this style of repair versus a full floor pan. Now we got to weld it all in, grind it all down, seam seal it, yada yada. But at the end of the day, it will be, honestly, it's going to come out nicer than I had originally thought. I mean, you can always put a floor pan in, but why would you? I mean, really, this is all the same stuff. All those floor pans is they're these exact pieces in a jig. Pretty simple. Okay, so now we're working, this is actually flipped around, but the next panel will be right here. There'll be a brace there, obviously this brace there, which is this one. They typically sell end caps. I think what I'm going to do is probably use this much of it. The reason being, see these two captured nuts? So obviously we have one right there, and then you can see another outrigger right there. So what I think I'm going to do is if I cut the floor out just past where this other captured nut is, we'll do that. We'll get the floor out. Then we can cut the brace right out. I can then get the brace bolted down because it's going to have a bolt there and a bolt there with the body bushing. Line it up. So where I cut here, I'll weld to the existing one. This is kind of an important one. This is what holds the emergency brake stuff, which is all on this one, so it all works. So we'll do weld it, bolt, and then we'll have to finish off the inner rocker. Do that. Then we can put the pan on, and I believe the seat brace goes on top. So the brace, this will brace me in, that brace goes on top, weld it. I know I'm talking a lot, I know what I'm doing. If you're not a Tri-5 guy, you probably don't, but it'll all make sense. We do have to take some more of the inner rocker out. Now, I don't know, I might even do it in 3 pieces because there's a piece back there to screw around with, so I might just weld it in, you know, to here and carry on with this panel and kind of just do it bit by bit. Is it the prettiest? No, but manageable? Yes, and that's ultimately what we're trying to accomplish, and I'm happy with it. I'm going to clean all this junk out of here, charge the batteries, throw some stuff out, and then we'll set the camera up. Next time you see me, I'll be just kind of blindly cutting to at least here. This is where the other brace is, so if I cut, or the other bolt I should say, so we'll cut that section out along with that line I have, and we'll see what we can accomplish. A little counter to what you would think, because I'll probably weld it from the inside, because that's what we'll be able to get to, but it'll be strong. Another big hole we're dealing with. Story of my life. I went a little further back than I wanted, and the reason was, so these are the pans that came with it. They are back Tri-5, some sort of pan. The stamping doesn't exactly line up, but the shape does, so it'll be fine. Now, this is the brace I'm talking about. I did kind of make sure it's solid all past here. Tri-5s typically rot out outside of frame. All the wheel stuff and everything gets beat up, so the end caps get all mangled. The center is always pretty good, which I say Tri-5s, that's probably most cars. Now, this is the little front brace I was talking about. I just put a clamp on, just kind of show you guys how this is going to work. You can see how it follows the profile, so that's pretty good. This is what's left of the seat brace, which is this piece right here. And as you can kind of see, it'll go something along, it's all kind of junky, but something along those lines. And that's what the front and back of the seat will bolt to. So that's our structure piece once we obviously change this. So now one further thing, the inner rocker is actually in really nice shape most of the way back up until just this little back piece. There was some, we'll call it questionable repair, But ultimately, if I take it apart, it's pointless. I can just fix what is already on here. So we have this rocker. Can I just rest this? And it's undercoated, but it's in good shape the whole way. The problem is someone made like an L bracket and bolted the rocker to the sill for some reason. So if I cut that out, I can then just hammer that up and I'll just weld it across. It won't be a factory style kind of weld, but this piece must have been replaced or bent or something in some place as well. So it'll be fine. And then just back here, it is ugliness, and we'll do that on another, well, later on, I guess. But that only leaves us this little piece. Sorry, I'm kind of in the way here. I should have gone longer, but I didn't anyways. So we'll fill that patch in, which will then give us, like I said, good rocker up to the back. Again, it'll be behind this brace, so who really cares? Where did I put the light? That inspection hole is handy. So, I think what I'll do next is we'll get that piece in, we'll cut out the brace, because we'll get the brace good. I want to make sure, see, look at all the junk that gets in here. So we'll blow all that out, get all that crap out. Then I'll be able to weld it on the outside if I want, but the inside, get the whole thing. So it'll be one piece again. It'll go across, be locked in. We'll go right down into the lower, or the inner rocker, I should say. I think it's got this, you know, this little divot here, so everything fits. Then we can start fitting the top pan. And then this back pan, there is no brace on it, but as you see, it's basically sitting right on the frame. So it's fine until we get to the far back where we have that rear brace, which we have some ugliness to deal with. Now back here, now that I'm in it, I cut it out. Where did I put it? I don't know, I did. Right in here was pretty thin. And even here you can kind of see she's pretty blah. At the end of the day, the pan is here. So if I go a little bit further back and across and over, it'll be more welding, but much, much nicer floor pan. So I think this is honestly going to be just as good as a full pan. It'll be strong, there'll be no issues. It'll be in multiple pieces. This is what you would have done in the 90s when you could buy these bits. That's how it worked. So there was no parts, then there was all the pieces to fix, and then eventually the full floor pan. So we're just doing it old school. A lot of you old school body guys probably did this job, and it probably cost a lot of money. I don't know how far I'll get. It's like 6:30. We go live on second channel, more Schmoo. It's Danny's deal, and we're gonna go live on that. So hopefully we'll see you there, and if we don't, maybe next week. So I'll keep going, and then we'll do that. Then I will carry on working until I'm tired. Tired-er. All right, well, a little jump ahead. I just did a couple things here because I thought it'd be a lot easier just to show it versus kind of doing fast motion or whatever I'm gonna do, because it's probably gonna be a little time consuming. I put this brace in. So this was the brace that came out. Obviously that much of it was basically rotten away. You can see there's a couple of holes there. That's where the body mounts are. So they're supposed to be captured nuts, which I had cut out, and that one was missing. So we started off with this long piece, and I just chopped it down. Now we installed it from the top side, simply because it was easier. So I cut it in. As you can see, hopefully anyways, a little light down there. Oh, and there. So we managed to line it up over the outriggers. So we have bushings in there. So that's good. We can put a nut and bolt in there, and that will tighten it. I then just welded it on the inside there, and then we gave it a weld to the rocker. So that's about the right height. I mean, there's nothing we can do there. I matched it exactly to this one. It's right down on the bushings. There's not a whole lot of adjustment. That is how it's going to be. I then took this piece, I trimmed it down a little, just to kind of give you an idea. I drilled out a few spot welds, or holes, so we can plug weld it, I should say, sorry. We have to trim this yet, so I will do that and across here. But that's essentially going to be the top plate. Before we do that, as you can see, Tri-5 Chevrolets, they have this flat bit right here. That is where the seat fits, because it's a bench seat deal, right? So all in this is irrelevant, just has its side pieces. Now where the strength comes is from this piece, which we had up there, and this piece, which will run across. And as you can see, it has captured nuts, some 5/16 deals. So I'm going to match up that is that piece right there. You can see it's broken and all. She's rickety, but it does fit right up against this kind of captured part, and it's right in line with the end of the brace. So if we line that up, line it up at the front, that is how it's going to be. We'll probably measure it just to make sure it's from the frame. I don't know. We'll make sure it's square. So we can do that, and I think we'll probably put this brace in as well. Now what I'm fighting out is, unfortunately, these two pans have to join right here, which is exactly where this has to be. So, what should I do there? I might join this to the car now that I think about it. Just weld it right to it, and then we'll trim this to fit. We'll weld that all in. It might be a little ugly, but that probably is the way to go. Because all this has to go on. First, this is underneath that. That all has to be on there. Then we have to drill our holes in this pan, obviously, to make sure it all lines up. Then we can weld it all together. So it's a bit time consuming. This is, again, where that one-piece pan really makes a big difference, because it's all just done. This has to be right. Well, right. Because we're actually going to use the wagon seat, right? It's a nice electric deal. And then there's a few holes we got to drill through here. Well, maybe it's these ones actually, for the power seat mechanism to work. So I think that's what I want to try and tackle that tonight. Get all that tacked into place. And then all we have back here is just how big I want to go for a patch panel in the back. But I think that might be a job for tomorrow. So I'll set the camera up, and I'm going to think on this for a little bit. I don't know if I'll talk through it or if we'll fast motion it. But we'll figure it out. We always do. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start mounting a couple of the braces first, because this has to hang on to something. We'll get that all dialed, and then I'll have to trim this panel, this section, until it lines up with what we currently have. I think that's going to be my plan. So we'll get the structure kind of in, see what we end up with. I'm confident. I'm always confident. Well, not to toot my own horn, that's a pretty decent little repair. I just put this back panel in, actually. I'll set it back. But Everything is plug welded in. So that's all. We have our holes drilled for our seat. I kind of eyeballed them. They might be a little bigger than they have to be, but ultimately we'll be able to get a bolt in there. Everything ran up across. As per usual, a repop pan. These are softer curves than the factory, so you kind of gotta, do whatever you gotta do and bang them in there, but it's all ugly tacked in. We have all the structure underneath. It actually looks, from a guy who's done his fair share, let's sit down here. The guy's done his fair share of pans, so we have that. I gotta weld these, I gotta smack them over yet. But that's what we're looking at. So, pretty decent. Obviously back there we don't have a pan, so it's just kind of middle of nowhere. But nice and sturdy, welded in. I am very happy with that. A little, like I said, we got to whack out the hammer over, quarter inch or so. This one I only did the back side, not the front, but nice and metal. It likes to move. So we're all taken care of down there. Yeah. I want to make sure this is all completely cool before I go inside. That's where I'm going to leave it for a night. It's about 10:30. So I could keep going, but then it's one of those things where I won't sleep if I'm like, oh, it's just welding for an hour. Tomorrow will be a lot more welding. Now back here, we have to make the decision. This is a rather large pan. Get this out of the way. And decide how far we want to go back. This is a hard top pan, I believe, because there's an extra bolt hole there, which the Nomad does not have. A hard top, like a 2-door hard top, or maybe even 4 doors, where the brace comes down here, because there's no structure in the post. Even though a Nomad is kind of like a hardtop wagon, it still has its B-pillar. Well, in a 2-door hardtop, there would be nothing here. So there's a brace that goes down there, and a brace that runs across the floor, and there's extra mounts. So, whatever, we can still kind of put that in, or it's a universal pan that just has it in there. So, we'll get in there. It might be best just to actually go right back here. It is kind of gungy at the end of the day. Now we're talking about just a little bit of extra welding. So we'll get that cleaned up and see. I'd like to save some of this. This is a nice little bend which I could reuse on this rocker. Not the end of the world to bend a little U shape, but we'll just see what happens. So there you have it. I'm pretty happy with it. Take your time, measure a few times, and it should be just fine. Once it's welded and ground down, you'll be able to tell, obviously, there's some work done to it, but it'll be fine. A little bit of seam sealer. It's sturdy, and realistically, this is actually coming out quite a bit nicer than I thought it was going to be. I did kind of think of like, I'll kind of scab this together, and then someone will change it down the road. This is fine. This is an absolutely good repair that I'd be proud to say I've done it. Obviously, I'm showing it to you people, and yeah, I'm not embarrassed by it whatsoever. Considering it was all free or very discounted panels, it's very good. Thanks for listening to me rant about myself, and I'm going to go to bed. But you guys go check out the new t-shirts at dspeechup.ca. In the meantime, and I'll clock wipe. See you tomorrow morning. New day. How are we going to spend our day off today? Working on junk. So we left it yesterday. We had the kind of front floor pan tacked in. Pretty happy with it. Now we have to deal with the back pan, and I've been thinking about it, and I've been kind of looking at it. I don't know. It's definitely not bad, but there's some stuff, like it's got a little hole. Something went through it, I think, and then it kind of got rusty, and then it's just, it's definitely decent metal, but at this point, I kind of want to do it right. Now, my version of doing it right, this pan will go right up to the tunnel, it'll go right up to this kick up, and it will go right to this kind of sill piece. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to join it in a bit of a funny way out of pure laziness. So this brace here, it runs the whole way across. So to change the pan here will mean, well, yeah, we'll have to kind of cut that, grind out the spot welds and all that stuff. It's still, that's good there. There's no issues whatsoever. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to join it along this way. We'll plug weld it into that. We'll jog it over. We'll go across. So we'll be joining it not on the brace, but right side, be nice and strong, be good. over there, across the back, and then I'm going to cut this pan right out, and I'll just lay it on top of this, whatever. We'll grind it down, and then plug weld it in, just like we're probably going to do here. It's supposed to be plug welded from the bottom, but I might just drill some holes and do it from the top, you know. We're not going for the 100-point restoration. We're like probably, you know, high teens for sure. But we'll do that. This pan will go in a hurry because there is no real bracing to be done. It's already taken care of. The only screw around factor is going to be around that, how far we go, and kind of carry on. I might even wrap it up a little just so I don't know, we'll see. I'm going to get in here and start kind of cutting and welding, and there'll be a big hole in the floor. Then we'll start deciding what we want to do. But I will get under, just make sure, but I'm pretty sure there's no bracing or anything to worry about, anything I have to worry about cutting through. So that will be the ticket, and then we have less at that back piece. But that is a project for another day, because that's going to be a whole lot of ugliness. And I want to start the next video today while I'm still motivated, and this is fresh in my mind, where I can do the floor pan on that side. So I'm going to do the floor, because there's less to do. I say that, but it might be 10 times worse. Do that and all that, then we got a pile of welding. But again, you want to do the welding where you can hang out and watch it for an hour or so, because this is going to be a lot of heat, a lot of sparks, a lot of screw around, and we don't want to melt this thing. You know, I don't want it being in a little pop can. So, see the camera set up. It might be hard to see a little, but cut and grind. I'll probably clean some of the junk out of this car too. Wow. So I ended up, I'm going to use basically the whole pan, kind of out of laziness. When I have to grind it, it's either going to be grinding down in here, grinding on the edge, or grinding this way. Or if I do it up here, it's just easy to kind of get the grinder in and get it all cleaned up. And ultimately, that's fine. There's a little splice there I got to weld in. We have everything drilled, everything fits. I was originally going to cheat and just lap this. Ouch. But ultimately, because the way the metal is, it doesn't push down enough to get my plug welds in. So what I'm going to do, this is lined up. I'm going to give it a couple of tacks across the back, and basically I'm going to use that as like a hinge to kind of hold it where I want. Then kind of pop it up, look, see what I want to trim out here. I might give it a bit of a blind cut just so I'm kind of close. But we have to line up kind of along here. Have that kind of fold down, wherever the cut is, I'm not really too sure. That'll come down, I can then plug weld that in. It'll give it some strength. We can then, you know, seam weld across there or whatever, and just start cutting and going as we go. Underneath all there is here, probably show up on the time lapse, I'm sure you're all watching. There's like an inch of metal the whole way around, so that'll come out, and I gave it a couple of splices, so it'll come off in pieces. This, and then up to here is actually done. That's fitting right in there, so that's fine. And getting in there is going to be, it's going to be ugly because I got to get to the back and everything as well. But the plan is to have the pan in here shortly, so we'll get the camera set back up, just start cutting and welding until it looks, well, it already looks good. I mean, honestly, a couple self tappers and we'd be done. But you know me, I'm a perfectionist. Look at that. Bunch of new floors. Now there are some gaps, but obviously this will all be seam welded together, ground down, then seam sealed. We got to fix a little hole in the tunnel. That's just a piece of sheet metal. That's really no big deal. But yeah, I am pretty happy with that. It was a lot of work, but realistically, to get to this point, I've probably got, I'm gonna say 8 hours in it. The welding is gonna be very time consuming, but welding is just, you know, go around, you know, turn the radio on and give her. But we're all good. The seats really got to be, everything is braced up and strong. We still have to get the back section finished, but I'm gonna do that at a later date. I do want to start on this side. This afternoon, that'll be another video, obviously, but yeah, look at that. Now, again, if you were gonna do this and the parts weren't free or extremely discounted, buy the pan, because this is a lot of work. And each one of these little pieces, so these here, this one here, I believe is 200 bucks, that one's 200 bucks, and these little side pieces, usually like 50 or 60 each. So you start doing the math real quick, and I mean, you go to OER, I think it's called, or Classic Industries. I think it's at $999 US for a floor pan. So you can rapidly determine that all these little pans, you know, that one I put in there was 100. I think the fronts are a little bit more. So it starts, you know, you'll spend more than the pan will anyways, but it's more work to get started. Once it's in, it goes a lot faster, but I guess from taking a car apart standpoint, this can be done without doing that. This is the other side we got to worry about. You know, realistically, it just kind of has the one hole there and stuff, but we'll do it proper, fill that little section in. I think the back pan is good enough. I'm not really going to worry about it. And under the seat's okay. We'll fix this area, fix that area, and that will be that. So the driver's side was bad. As always, that's where your boots are. That's where the driver is all the time. So it gets all kind of beat up. That's really this video. Thank you so much for watching. Oh, I wanted to tell them something. What was it? Oh, t-shirts, right. ddSpeedShop.ca. So it's
Not even showing it to them. Come on. Only dance.
Oh, it's a little short. I'll wear my peg belt buckle too. ZipTiesBuySplice.com. Overpriced, by the way. Buy the shirt first. So it's this with a blower on it. It looks dope. I love it. Thanks so much for watching.
ddSpeedShop.ca.
ddSpeedShop.ca. Danny's all over it. We're not going to plug it that hard going forward, but this is our first time and we're pretty excited about it. So we're going to go for some breakfast or lunch or whatever time it is, and I'll be back later on today doing other floor pans. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe below if you wouldn't mind. Leave a comment and check out the website. See you on the next one.
Take off more.